Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Dr. Colin Zhu, and thank you so much for being here with us. This is the Thrive Bites podcast, and welcome to season 5. Here we talk about 3 things: plant-powered living, enhancing emotional resilience, and creating a thriving mindset. And I interview the most passionate guests here, ranging from physicians to coaches to dietitians to entrepreneurs. And my hope is to give you really informative and high-valued conversations. So please follow us here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you hear your podcasts. Come on in, and I can't wait to see you inside. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Thrive Bites. I am joined here by my guest, Dr. T, and he is the human engineer. And he shares a really cool story on how he got that, moniker. And this is a very, very, very interesting and thought-provoking episode. A little bit different from my, traditional episodes. And, we, cover, all kinds of stuff, from physical to emotional to mental. We do talk a lot about, food as medicine. We talk a lot about the pillars of lifestyle medicine. And I definitely want to invite you to kind of, look at, healing and look at, things from an out of the box perspective. And, he tells us about his journey, his own healing practice, and the way he shows up for his clients. So it's very, very interesting. Definitely come on in and take a listen, and I'll see you inside. Okay, guys. Well, welcome to another episode of Thrive Bites. Thank you so much for being here with us on the show. I'm your host, Dr. Colin Zhu, and thank you so much for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, and you decided to join us and spend just a few precious moments, and I'm very, very grateful. So thank you for doing that. With me today, I have a very, very, very awesome guest, very interesting person, professional, and we have a lot to talk about. So we'll get straight to it. He goes by the name Dr. T, and he is a self-proclaimed human engineer. He is a trained chiropractor, a licensed massage therapist, and a hypnotherapist. And today we have a lot to share in terms of healing and all the different ways of going about healing. And as we know, there's so many different types of modalities. I myself, for those that have been following me, been trained and raised by, a traditional Chinese medical, doctor as my mom, as my mother, and very, very open to different types of modalities and perspectives in terms of healing. So we welcome that, and let's get into these topics. So say hi to Dr. T. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me on here. This is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. So please share with the audience where you're calling from, Dr. T.
I'm in Nicaragua. I'm in Jiquilillo, Nicaragua. I have a disc golf course down here and a small farm. And so I come down here every winter because it's just too darn cold in Prescott, Arizona. So I like to escape the cold and come down where it's warm. And when we're done, I'll walk out to the ocean, go for a swim, and come back and play some discs this afternoon.
Nice. So for those of us that don't know what disc golfing is, what is that?
Disc golf is it's been around for since the late 70s. It's they have baskets and you have discs instead of frisbees. So a lot of people say, "Oh, it's frisbee golf." Well, disc golfers, the diehard disc golfers, it's disc golf. It's different. It's we prefer not to use the word frisbee, but it's played just like golf, and it's just played outdoors, and it's all over the country. It's all over the planet now. It's everywhere. It's thousands and thousands of courses out there. So and it's it's a low impact game, but it's not nearly as easy as it looks. And so it keeps you pretty interested. I've been playing, I don't know, over 30 years, and I just love the game, and that's what I do in the wintertime.
Oh, that's awesome. I would imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I would imagine you wouldn't have that much, competing interest in Nicaragua, right?
Oh no, they're pretty damn serious about it down here. Oh yeah, no, we get into it all the time. The guy who takes care of my property, he has a family. He's got a couple of sons, and then there's a bunch of locals, and it's a lot of competition, a lot of bragging, a lot of Oh yeah, no, it's very exciting down here. Come down and play. These guys are good. They
Awesome.
picked up really fast. Nicaraguans like to throw things. They love baseball. They love football, of course, soccer. But they all pick it up really fast, and they get good fast. So it's been a lot of
Mm,
fun, a lot of challenge, a
awesome.
lot of
Awesome.
challenge playing with. Yeah.
That is one country in South America I have yet to travel to. So I'll definitely, look you up if I ever head down there.
Please do, yeah, please do. We have, I think it's Nika Disc Golf is the website. It's there's not much on there, but you can
Mhm.
find it. It's the only like actual professional course in the country, is here in
Mm.
Hikaleo, and so the rest of them are really kind of just not very well maintained. And we have a full time guy here. We have 3 horses here that keep the property mowed. The baskets are real, and so yeah, we have discs. We have everything here. So if you ever get down here, come check it out.
Very, very awesome. So let's get straight into it. So I like to ask my guests the origin stories of their own personal and professional journeys. And a lot of times, they are aligned, they're merged, they are integrated, with each other. So I guess the most obvious question to ask is, what is a human engineer? And how did you arrive to that kind of moniker and become the person that you are today?
Well, it wasn't mine. It was given to me by a client, and so you mentioned self-proclaimed. I'm not self-proclaimed. A client gave me the name. I, I can't remember what I did to him. I massaged him. I did all kinds of deep tissue work on him. I hypnotized him. Oh my gosh, I did all kinds of some of these original techniques I started studying way back, and he got up. He actually looks a lot like you. So he's I love him because he can pass for just about any culture. He can be
Mhm.
Chinese, he can be Indian, he can be Vietnamese, he's a Mexican. He can pass for any culture anywhere he goes. But he sat up and he said, you're not a chiropractor, you're a human engineer.
Mhm.
And that was about, like I said, over 20 years ago. And so it just kind of stuck. I just went out and looked, and I was like, yeah, this kind of fits. It felt good. And over all these years, I'm just curious, like you. And so I've studied a ton of things. I studied everything, anything and everything. If I had a minute, I went and studied it, whether it was a
Mhm.
physical technique or a energetic technique. I studied with some osteopaths early on. So a
Mhm.
couple of cats from New Zealand early on that really introduced me to a lot of really light, soft touch and some of these different concepts that are in osteopathy. And so that's how I got the name. That's how the moniker came in. And as soon as he said it, I was like, well, that is kind of me. I'm just curious. So I've just been looking, and he's one of these people that had a lot of stuff going wrong with him, and so it took a few years to get stuff all the way back and not have him call me for help, and just a lot of inquiry, a lot of well, being a doctor, it's the people you help. They don't keep you up at night. It's the people you can't help. you
Mhm.
know, you wake up at 2 in the morning, go, oh, what the heck was going on with that woman? Why can't I get
Mm.
this? I mean, that's my experience. And so a human engineer is basically I'll do whatever it takes to figure out what's gone wrong in the human body. And so my philosophy has always been to keep you out of my office. We all want clients, we all want patients, and we love what we do. We love practicing, but for me, I want people to have the full experience of life, and maybe do a checkup a couple times a year. That's more what that's always been my philosophy. Keep you out of my office and have you out living your life, having an amazing experience. And a couple times a year, check in to, do whatever we need to do to keep you having that experience.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. Yeah, I grew up, before I decided to go into medicine, I actually had a couple of chiropractors, family chiropractors, that, in a way, they were just so close. They were more than just close friends; they were basically family. And I just remembered, the entire experience, not just the therapeutic experience, but just the energy whenever you step into a room, of a chiropractor's, office. At least the ones that I went to, was very healing. I loved all the chiropractors that that treated me and my family. And yes, we actually do share lineage in terms of osteopathic medicine and chiropractic. So there's
Totally.
always there's a lot of similarities. So why don't we go into the next question is, in terms of the healing modalities, why don't you share with us different kinds, right? That you've I'm also a eternal learner. I love studying, I love learning about different things, and there's so many different approaches, right? To healing a person. How have you used those types of modalities towards healing? Is it a individual approach? Is it a customized approach? And how did you refine what worked and what didn't work? What was your overall process over time?
Well, one of the reasons why I'm here doing this is that I'm teaching this stuff now. I've put it all. I've taken 25 years of all this stuff, all these different modalities, and I've just weeded out all the baloney. So much baloney out there. I don't like baloney. I like real, I like real food. And so, in doing so, and cutting away all the, it's Occam's razor. You just cut away all the stuff that is not real, is phony. I'm a big skeptic. I'm extremely curious, but also a skeptic. I want to know what works, what doesn't work, and I just kind of kept. I had a lot of clients kept coming in saying, "When are you going to teach this? When are you going to teach this?" My clients are, it's like you said, it's a chiropractic office, but they're my friends. They've been with me for 20 years, 20 plus years. They watched me go through all these different things of healing and learning and all this stuff, just from desire of helping people. And they really are the ones. They're the ones responsible for this mess I got myself into. I'm joking. It's a good mess. It's a lot of it's a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of stress to teach and to put together something. It's been very difficult to get it to a place where I'm absolutely amazed and proud of what we've created. And so, there's, we talk about modalities. I've looked at all the stuff that's out there, from applied kinesiology to physical adjusting, non-physical adjusting, intentional based techniques. And again, I just kind of pulled everything that seemed to work, that could give you immediate results and powerful results, things that most people are just, we discover a lot of things that are just undiscovered. And that comes from curiosity. It comes from being curious and going, what the heck? Why didn't that work? I wonder why that worked and that didn't work. And when you have a curious mind and you come from a curious place, the universe will start opening up to you. It opens up to you with just little insights. And so I started paying attention to these insights. I was just like, okay, now we're on to something. This really matters. When you do this little action, this gives you more access to what it is we are trying to do. And so what I've done is put together this 3-day class. And with all my training, I've figured out how to do a thought. It's just called, and it's out there. You can Google this stuff. It's out there somewhere. Thought transfer. And this transfer brings you up to my speed very quickly, as in under 20 minutes. You're doing stuff that you can only imagine possibly doing. People who have never done any healing at all, housewives. We've had truck drivers. We've had electrician. I've had an electrician take the class, and he's performing amazing, seeing amazing results within the first hour across the room or through a telephone to someone else in a different state. So my specialty is remote healing. And that's what I teach. That's mainly what I teach in my class. I have put together what I call a roadmap, and so that's a real physical way for like a doctor, like someone like yourself or a chiropractor or acupuncturist can go through the body and make mainly make an organ assessment and increase the vibrancy of the nervous system all within an hour, physically with someone in front of you. And the rest of the course is really about remote healing. And that's how I come down here. I've been coming down here for 20 years, usually about 6 months a year. And 99% of my practice is remote healing. I don't know if I answered your question or not, but that was a lot of information.
No, you did. I've always been curious about your work, and definitely hearing that for me it makes a lot of I don't want to use the word sense, but It does, in a way, right? It resonates with me because I have a mother that, does other types of modalities in addition to her original traditional Chinese medicine. She practices like functional, nutrition and, things like that. She does muscle kinesiology as well. My own sister has done a system called Body Talk, which kind of,
Familiar with
yeah,
all
it's
that. Sure.
similar. It's
Totally.
similar to what you just mentioned in
It's good
terms
work.
of,
It's good work. Yeah, it's good
yeah.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when you say remote healing, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I hesitate to use the word sense because to a listener, they're probably like, what are you talking about? So break it down, right?
Yeah.
Because I think
Well,
somewhere, I believe I was looking at your website. There's quantum mechanics being used, right? So break it down for
yes.
us in terms of how the
Well,
remote could work.
Well, you come into the class, and the first thing you learn is how quantum mechanics runs the universe. Well, the first thing I do is transfer all of this right into you, and you could call it hypnosis, you can call it whatever you want to, but it's thought transfer. It's a code. I've seen the code. It's very interesting. It's literally, hey, I can do this, now you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I open up a certain neuronal pool in the brain for this thought transfer to occur, and it's instantaneous. So, like for example, the last class, I did this in the first 20 minutes, maybe half hour, and I went back to a housewife who's never done any healing at all. And I said, "Anybody got a headache in the room?" And there was 3 people that had headaches. I went over to her because she was the most shy, the most timid. She was just terrified that she wasn't going to be able to do this. And so I went to her and I just talked her through what she was going to learn. So I didn't even teach her anything yet. I didn't teach her anything. I just said, this is what you're going to do. Look right here on this document. Here's here's the cranium, here's the brain, here's the lining of the brain. Just ask the angels, and we're going to get to the angels in a minute, to do this for you or for that person. And boom, 3 out of 3. One was a 9 of 10 headache. Pretty bad. 9 of 10 headache. That's pretty bad. The other 2 were, they were less than that, but they were still 24-hour headaches, completely disappeared in 10 seconds. So that's how I start the class, because seeing is believing. We've all had an angelic experience, but we can't see it. We can't see them. So we tend to just forget about them. Oh yeah, great coincidence. So glad that happened, and I didn't get run over by that train. So in the class, applied quantum mechanics is so I teach you how quantum mechanics, how it works, how the active observation changes the outcome of an experiment, how everything's vibrating. I get into all the philosophy of instantaneous manifestation, how intention works. Intention runs the world. I'm sure everybody listening to this has thought of somebody they haven't seen in a while, that someone they really love from even their childhood, and boom, the phone rings, or they see a friend. Hey, guess who I saw the other day? This is the idea that we are truly all connected, and only this is just taking it a step further and saying not only are we connected, we can influence this connection from a distance, anywhere, anytime, with the right intention, right knowledge. Got to have the knowledge. And you can make instantaneous change because of how the universe works. But when we look at something, we look at, this is my doctor's bag. Oh, wait a minute, I had a muscle problem earlier today. So I would come here, and then all through the whole, whichever way you can see this, what this is. You studied, well, you got one of these.
I would just solo you.
Yeah. Well, you can, this is what you get in the class, and this is how I teach it. The biggest thing is all the stuff that's going on out there that are causing disease that we're just unaware of. That chiropractors, acupuncturists, medical doctors, we just aren't up to speed yet. And these things that I've discovered over the years that are driving a lot of dis-ease processes, like these headaches, for example. I had her wipe out some kind of unknown pathogen in their brain lining that 100% instantaneously wiped out these headaches. And one woman hasn't had any of them come back. It's 4 months ago. She used to have them every day. So these pathogens are, and I know, you've studied it. We both did the microbiology, but they don't spend any time, it's all the big stuff. It's all the giant tapeworms, or the giant, Lyme's disease. And no, it's more than that. It's a lot more than that. all this
Mhm.
autoimmune stuff going on, all these weird pain cases going on that are unresolved, or weird tension in the head, weird stuff that no one else can figure out. That's what we're having an unbelievable amount of success with
Mm.
asking angels for help. I know
Mhm.
that's a little wild, but that's
Mhm.
what I do. And how it works is matching frequency. Raymond Royal Rife was a microbiologist back in the 20s. Oh, you know about him? Okay,
Mhm.
so he's the one who discovered you match a frequency with a radio frequency, the pathogen explodes. So we use some of those concepts in this training
Mm.
to be more effective with asking angels to modulate and create a vibration that will wipe this stuff out.
Mhm.
And it's fascinating. Everything from floaters, vertigo, dizziness, chronic pains, ankle pains, arthritis, as I find this. So
So there's
so many.
no conditions that you like limit, you do your best to kind of attack it because
Everything.
you don't even look at a label, it sounds like. It's
I
really
don't.
about
The
where the imbalance or quote unquote, I guess frequency would be, so to speak.
you know, it's just a name. I used to sit in class all the time, raise my hand, and the and the poor teachers always, Dr. Cahill, let me guess. You want to know why? I said, yeah, I want to know why. God, why? I would scream, jump up and down, because I want to know why. Why is leukemia out there? Why would the body create a blood cell that's completely erroneous? I want to know. I mean, I want to know. I'm
Yeah.
curious. I like to figure things out. That's part of the human engineer gig, is figuring stuff out. And I can't do it. I don't do it all the time, but son of a gun, we're seeing things disappear. We're having different types of miracles that truly are. I mean, I don't know what else you call them other than a miracle. I mean, you
Mhm.
imagine a woman with a knife in her brain for 6 years.
Mhm.
That's her description of her pain, a knife in her brain. We watched
Mhm.
that disappear in, I don't know, 30 seconds at the last class. For her, it was a miracle. She sat there and just started bawling, crying. That's been gone now for 4 months. And these are the kinds of things that I think we have some answers to that just haven't become available yet. Cell wall deficient forms, you know what they are because you looked at them in class for about 5 minutes in 2 years of microbiology. I look at them all the time. I read the book twice because there's a book out there that catalogs all these cell wall deficient forms, right? How are they created? Antivirals, antibiotics, um, environmental toxins, adverse thought patterns. If you're in an adverse emotional state long enough, those chemicals are
Mhm.
produced in the body. They make pathogens stronger. So there's a lot of stuff that I teach that is out there. It's just not being applied. It's not being used
Mm.
in a manner for healing that I think it can be. People
Yeah.
develop hair loss, not being able to grow hair back, having floaters, all these weird things. Weird.
I could probably come for that.
There you go. I knew I'd get you somehow.
Yeah. So I guess a different question I would love to ask because from my perspective, so I'm trained in family medicine. I'm trained in lifestyle medicine. My mother raised me in terms of holistic care, prevention, optimizing the body as best as you can, right? And it's about, very simply put, removing the blocks, as much as possible. That's part of how acupuncture, TCM works, right? And so I guess one would probably, I would love to inquire to you, over your 25 years, of seeing clients, and I know you're doing more teaching now, is when you're looking at the world, okay, doing a more macroscopic view, a more global view, what has changed? Because you talked about, different conditions, it just has a different name. In medicine, we call them syndromes, right? Like it's a constellation of symptoms. You can't really figure out what it is. And there's no really great cure or treatment, for it. And a lot of, Western medicine, unfortunately, is just covering up the symptoms. So over your 25-year span, what has happened in your views, to the earth or to how society and, civilization has gone and evolved over time that maybe have contributed, to, what's going on. What we do know is, we got climate change, right? There are some of us that don't believe in it. Some of us, it's like hard science, just go out in the world, look at it, right? We do know that, there's microplastics, there's, there's trash, there's heavy metals, right? They just found, the last reading I saw was microplastics in a living body, right? That's how, how crazy it is now. But from your views, I feel like it's gone more complicated. Society has gone more complicated. Technology has advanced, right? But it doesn't seem like in terms of health, we've done anything. Like you said, what you've been alluding to, we've kind of upped our game in terms of evolving, healing, and, helping people out, health getting better. In a lot of respects, it's gotten worse, right? The pandemic just kind of made it, more light, to the surface that, oh man, there's a lot of people that are sick, been sick, and a large majority have, gone to the ICU, have died, is because of these crazy risk factors, right? So I would love to hear, your point of view.
Hey guys, if you are interested in having a consultation with me and actually see me one-on-one, the Chef Doc Lifestyle Medicine practice has partnered with Plant-Based Telehealth, and we offer lifestyle medicine consultations. So you'll be able to see me one-on-one, and I can go over your health history and seeing what we can do to fill in the gaps. We can talk about your physical health, anything from food to lifestyle to diet to setting up your kitchen to cooking preparation to grocery shopping to your mental health. I think it's important that we build our emotional resilience, to talking about your sleep and how to stay hydrated and what are the best medicines if necessary, what are the best supplementations if necessary. And we do all this in a very concise manner, and it's a conversation. I take the time out to listen. I take the time out to really understand you from the ground up and to look at all aspects of your physical, emotional, and mental health. And please, drop me a line, schedule an appointment if you want to see me one-on-one. And I am very, very looking forward to learning more about you. And again, thank you so much for visiting here at the Chef Doc.
Well, I think it's easy to just look at the world as it was so much more toxic and so much more pollution. Like I said, microplastics, just the plastics alone, are having a huge adverse effect. And a lot of it is on women for the pseudoestrogens and the hormone imbalances that these plastics are creating. Storing our food in them, eating. We can't. You can't hardly avoid it. It's just too damn convenient. And we didn't have any of that in the 60s and 70s. It just wasn't around. And then there's humans we're changing. I mean, we're changing. The people who used to come to see my father was a chiropractor. It wouldn't work for them anymore. I mean, it's just humanity. The human body is changing, and we're exposed to so many more unbelievable amounts of toxins and poisons now from birth till death now than we were 20 years ago. Technology, look, all electromagnetics. Do we really think that none of this stuff has any adverse effect? Are you crazy? I mean, of course it does. Do you want to live next to a tower? I get anywhere near these towers. I mean, the towers are down here too. I get anywhere near them, I feel them. I mean, I'm very sensitive, but we're being blasted nonstop with electromagnetics. That's got it. I mean, there's so many things that you and I could go down the rabbit hole with it. I don't think that there's no one answer. Climate change, yes, absolutely. But I remember we were freezing to death back in the 70s, and they were sure the planet was going to freeze. And then weren't the ice caps supposed to melt in New York City? Was supposed to be underwater, but like 10 years or so ago. And now they have the freaking clock in New York where we have 3 more years or something. I mean, it's just crazy. Talk about disinformation. Remember, there used to be dinosaurs walking around this place, right? There used to be dinosaurs, right? And they froze, and then they had more freezing. They had like 4 ice ages now they've discovered. I mean, do we really? I don't know. It's funny you opened. This is a Pandora's box.
It
But
is. It is. It is. And I'm sure a lot of people watching it, they're like, we're going to chime in with so many different, opinions about it.
and
But
food,
I just
look
feel
at
like I agree
foods.
with you. I feel like the world has gotten very, very toxic. We're,
Yeah.
oh man,
Food supply, our foods are not nearly as good as they used to be. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we canned all summer long. My mom had us canning all summer long, and we ate that canned food during the wintertime. Now you can't hardly go to a store without sodium benzoate or some other preservative that is foreign to the human body to keep that food on the shelf for 6, 7, 8 months. These things matter. They build up over time and start causing problems and these weird sensitivities. I think pathogens are having their way right now. That's what I think. I think that these cell wall deficient forms and the things that we've done to stop infections and stay clean. We used to roll around in mud holes, right? Like hogs. We keep everything so clean now that we aren't even exposed to bugs. We've got super Pine Sol 3 to clean the floor and make sure there's no pathogens. We need to be sick to be strong. We have to go through some of these things for our immune systems to be built and be strong and stay aware. And then I think the key is to not have a burden so high that you're able to stay healthy. And by that I mean, like, remember when you could sneeze on an airplane a couple of years ago, and somebody would sneeze on an airplane, and 300 people would get off the airplane, and 50 of them got sick. Well, why didn't the other 250 get sick? Because their burden wasn't as high. So the burden is huge. So foods can help reduce burdens in people. Different herbs can help reduce the burdens on people, because we are just discovering that we're a super microorganism. We're full of pathogens. We are full of bacteria, full of viruses. This thing's going on now. This pandemic is completely different. I don't want to touch that subject because it's just unbelievable when you look through the veil. But here we are. We don't have a lot of answers for these. We got super bugs out there now. No one's talking about these things. No one talks about super bugs that are on all of our equipment, the colonoscopies, the endoscopies. They autoclave them. It doesn't kill it. Doesn't kill the pathogens. That's out there, right? You're familiar. You've heard of this, right? Yeah. But these cell wall deficient forms are I don't know what to say other than check out the book. And it's Alita Matman wrote it. It's unbelievable what she's discovered, and I think she's long gone. She was 90 something in the last revision, but it's amazing, weird stuff. The soft tissues that won't heal. Implanted knees that won't heal. A lot of these weird things where there's some inflammation in the body. I'm finding these pathogens set up shop, and they don't let go until some kind of energy comes along that matches them and wipes them out. That's what I find.
Yeah, I mean, when I see patients, we talk about this all day long, antibiotic resistance to superbugs. I remember when C. diff, Clostridium difficile was huge, now it's pervasive in the community.
Everybody has it.
More antibiotics are, just not useful. And I think a lot of people, what they don't know is 2/3, 3/4 of antibiotics actually manufactured. Well, I'm in the States and, you're in Nicaragua, but a lot of our antibiotics goes towards livestock production, you know what I'm saying? And people who are more animal based are going to be, ingesting residuals, and, you mentioned the microbiome, right? You mentioned immune health. And honestly, if it weren't for the pandemic, I definitely look at the silver lining in things. And I think that, being more mindful of our health and paying attention to our gut health and immune health is important. So, I think it, brings what do you call it, a magnifying glass, on these subjects. And it's super, super important to know about it. And I agree with you. We're just sanitizing everything. And, there is a lot of validity to building up that, immune system. instead of, killing off, everything. And I remember the last statistic I read in an article was it was just about over 100 different toxins that get transferred from a mother's womb, from a mother to, the
I
fetus
think it's
when they're
triple.
born.
I guess it's triple, something like triple that. But yeah,
Mm,
you're absolutely correct. And I find that stuff all the time. I find that stuff all the time. We find so many times people are born depressed, right? It's lifelong depression. And you hear of this. You hear, oh yeah, no, it's always a dark day for me. It's like, well, where the heck? Why is your day so dark? Mine isn't. And
mm,
you start asking questions, and it's either mom or dad or grandma or grandma or grandpa's grandma or grandpa that had the same thing. And I'm finding those pathogens are coming through now.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
that's a that's a big finding. That's a big claim. But if I can see lifelong depression disappear with clinically with my treatment, it's got to be has to be close to valid, right? I mean, I'm not going to do a study on it. I don't need to. People with lifelong depression, when that clears, and it clears usually just about within a minute or two, they know the day is not dark anymore. They know
mhm,
immediately. And the same thing with a lot of these anxieties that are out there. I'm finding these are pathogen driven as well. It's fascinating. Some of these self-deprecating thoughts. A lot of people who just can never be good enough or anything. I find a lot of that stuff is microbiome based, and
mhm.
so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, yeah, no,
it's
there's
fascinating.
plenty of research, more and more,
Yeah,
connecting brain health and gut health. And you're absolutely
yeah,
right, and there's so
yeah.
much we need to learn about it, we're one big walking organism. You're absolutely right. We're at least 39 trillion, like almost 9 to 10 organisms to a human cell, so, and there's so much we need to learn.
Yeah.
So I would say, for you, if someone comes, to you, or someone that's listening who are unable, to come to you, what would you say, advice, some wisdom that you could, relay to them in this world that we're living in, this toxic, burden, of a world, what would you say would be like 3 go-tos or 3 takeaways, to be able to lessen that, in the next, 24 to 48 hours? What can they do, action wise?
Well, go to my website first of all. Well, and I do mean that in all sincerity. Go to my website, sign up for it. There's a Relax to Heal. It's a 20-minute recording on there. There's a lymph video on my website. There's also a heart resonance technique on my website. So there's 3 things right there. You just go to the website. It's AHUMANENGINEER.com and get those things and then unsubscribe. But they're free and they're unbelievable tools. A heart resonance technique is just the idea of having compassion for yourself, filling your heart with compassion, focusing on your heart, using your own intention to magnify that vibration. It bathes the entire body in compassion for yourself over the course of 1 minute. That's how long it takes for the blood to flow through the body. And then that technique it's audio, so it's 2.5 minutes long. And then it goes into appreciation and gratitude for yourself. The first time I did it, I couldn't believe how hard it was for me.
Mm,
And I'm a doctor, and I try to
mhm,
help people. I've helped people my entire life. That's what I do.
mhm.
I couldn't believe it. I was shocked
Why was it
that I
hard for
couldn't
you?
because I didn't. There wasn't a lot of things there I felt like I appreciated about myself.
Mhm,
There wasn't enough things that I cherished about all the stuff that I do. I see a car broken down, I stop. I try to help people. I always have, long before becoming a doctor. And so the first time I did it, I was stunned at how many, even with the compassion, having mercy for ourselves, being kind to
mhm.
ourselves, having
Yeah,
leniency. We're so damn hard on ourselves.
yeah.
Oh, I look like this, or I look like that, or I don't have this, or don't. So the first couple of times I did it, I was shocked, and I got that from Wally Schmidt. He just passed away recently, unfortunately, but that's where I got that and put it out on my website. I don't think he was. I know I'm not infringing on anybody's private property or anything, but I have a recording that people can listen to. Relax to Heal is a hypnotic recording. It's to remind it's to help free the subconscious of all the stress that we go through every single day. And the lymph video is just a real simple lymph massage for yourself that helps your detoxification. It helps aches and pains and a lot of different
Mhm,
things in the body. And so those are real simple, 3 real simple things. And I just think bringing joy and spreading joy to people around you, and if you have an opportunity to make someone smile, do it. Because you do it because you should, but it helps you. Every single time I get into a healing realm, which I'm going to when we're done here, I know that it's me and a person in London that are working on one another. I'm working on somebody in London, but I know if I help her, and I'm going to, it's going to help everybody else, because every time we enter into this realm of healing, it's not one-on-one. It's for the total. It's total, and that's energy, that's vibration, that's consciousness. And that's just how it is. It appears to be you and I, but it's way bigger than that, because who knows what you're going to do when you feel better.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, we call it exactly. We call it paying it forward. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm a big believer of, you know, us being in this, you know, intricate web, you know, that is the entire world. And even if you don't know someone, you know, your energies, your thoughts to yourself, you know, the conversations, what you do, not do, say, not say, it affects someone else, you know?
Absolutely.
And even though, you know, we may have been sequestered, and now I know this year is a little bit, you know, getting to be a little bit different, you know, even just being by yourself, you know, on all those different thought patterns, you know, has a negative effect, you know? And we talk a lot about not just the physical health, but we also talk a lot about emotional and mental health as well. So, so Dr. T, I know we can go in so many different directions. Just to kind of close out, you know, what are the programs that people come and visit you, you know, on your website? And thank you for, you know, sharing. We'll put it in the show notes. You know, what kind of programs that you offer? And I do read about, you know, a program called TNT. Please explain what that is, you know, for the listeners.
TNT is total knowledge technique, and so that's what I teach people. Anyone who is interested in healing, I don't care who you are, what you do, doesn't matter. If you're interested in healing, save yourself a lot of time, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, and come and learn this stuff. I just think what I put together, I wish I had 25 years ago. It would have made my whole life and a lot of people's lives a lot easier. But I'm just really proud of this package that I put together. It's 3 days. You learn all about quantum mechanics. You get this thought transfer. By the end of the first day, you are literally seeing miracles. So you are seeing miracles. You will perform a miracle the first day or second day, and just because if we have too many people, it takes a little bit to get through everybody and find people who need it. But once you start seeing it, you start believing it, and that belief is quickly translated into confidence. And faith, probably more importantly, faith. And so these are angels we're working with. I don't know what else you call them. That's what we are asking for help from every time we step into this realm and do this work. And everybody who's come through the class has all say the same thing. It's completely changed your lives. It's absolutely changed your lives, those around them, their families, their animals. And so I'd love to have anybody listening who's interested in healing, save yourself a bunch of trouble and come and learn this thing I'm teaching, TNT. The other thing I'm doing is this program is called Crazy Unknown Shift. And so that is a little different. That's if you need healing. If you need healing and you can't find your way out of whatever you're in, and no one's been able to help you, and you're seeing the same people for years and years and years. You love these people. They're trying to help you, but darn it, I'm not about loving. I'm about fixing it. And so this program is, we get 15 people together at once. I do a general clearing, a general healing on all kinds of stuff that I find applies to many, many people. And then the last couple of minutes, or the last about half hour, everybody gets 2 minutes of everyone else's focus and intention. And I kind of talk everybody through what we're doing. And what I'm finding is I narrow down that focus to the individual. And we are having absolutely unbelievable results. Absolutely unbelievable results. And that's the best way to see me. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck waiting months to actually see me. And I don't like that, but I'm just too busy to see one-on-one people anymore. I got too many clients. And doing the programs, we're doing 15 per. So it's a program. It's four. So it's 1 hour for 4 weeks. So the program is 4 weeks at 1 hour each week. And it's just been phenomenal. So we're doing a couple of those a day. So there's plenty of room. People can get in and get the help you need. Sorry.
And no, you're good. You're good. No, and this is located in your place in Arizona or Nicaragua?
It's all I'm wherever I'm at. This is when I do it. I just yeah, I just happen to be in Nicaragua right now, but the program is all off the website. AHUMANENGINEER.com
Mhm.
has it's just, we call it crazy unknown shift because we don't want to swear publicly. But it's all this stuff that no one else is. I mean, if I read you a list of what people are coming in with, and you just would be, it's just kind of shocking. I mean,
Mm,
everything from arthritis to bursitis to vertigo to you name it, and we're having tremendous results, and it's been
mhm,
really fascinating. We're finishing the first finishing a program this week, and I don't think anybody has gotten back and said they don't feel better. I
mhm,
think it's 100 so far. 100% has said, "Wow, unbelievable!" Because we give a money back guarantee. Also, if you don't like it
mm,
after the first time, you can say, "I want my money back. I don't want to do this anymore."
mm.
And that's just not. We don't find that in the healing realms very often.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's good to know. And I think that we do a lot of cases. I interviewed another guest, and we're talking about all kinds of medical mysteries. Is what she terms it, and she has a practice up in New York, New Jersey area, and yeah, it's every single year I come across a new condition, a new syndrome. And yeah, in terms of the Western side, in terms of Western conventional medicine, it's just more questions as opposed to answers. And I know that there's a lot of different things that, we can't keep up with, in terms
Yeah.
of chemicals. I think the environmental, the EPA, only studies, just a select few. And there's so many new ones that come out. It's hard to capture all of them,
Well,
but they can contribute. I would say they can contribute to all the different things that we're seeing, and
yeah.
no one has done, like you said, study, and that will take time too. Research takes a lot of time,
Yep.
resources, funding
Yeah.
from the
So
right people, so.
yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, and I mean, we can talk again for days on this stuff, but like just looking at Roundup alone, my God, we are poisoning ourselves. We're breathing the air through ethanol of Roundup. I mean, you just look at some of the stuff that we're allowing. It's just really, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just sad. It's hard to do. It's hard
yeah,
to hard
yeah,
hard to keep yourself clean. And people are always like, so
definitely.
what do you take? I have boxes of stuff I take. I mean, I take so much stuff just to be sure that I'm healthy and stay healthy,
Right, right, right.
because we're inundated with this stuff, even in a country like this.
Yeah, exactly. And, like it's not that we want to, we would
Yeah.
rather just rely on what Mother Nature provides us.
Yes. Yep.
But, unfortunately, we've done a lot of damage to Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Yeah.
this could go in so many different directions. Dr.
Let's keep
T,
it
thank
light.
you so much. Thank you so much
Hey,
for,
for what you're
spending the
doing, man.
time, sharing
Yeah.
the wisdom. I really appreciate, you showing up and doing what you do. Thank you for giving us some insight into what you do. I think it's a very, very cool, passion, very much needed, because we do need thinking outside of the box, and courage to be able to go down different ways that, the traditional routes haven't gone. And, if we see results, so.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, it seems like I've always kind of been on that path without really knowing it, and but now it's kind of like time goes by. I've been doing this for so many years now. People are like, say, so what do you do? Well, I use angels for healing. Oh, okay. Usually I'll get a big breath, and they'll be like, oh, okay, he's serious. I said, yeah, I'm dead serious, and your dog needs some help from me. So here's my card.
Oh,
But it's real.
you do people's pets as well?
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm,
It's this whole pathogen thing that I'm talking about. This whole
mm.
burden of pathogens that are in animals also. It's
Yeah,
in our
yeah, I
water.
can believe that.
It's
Yeah.
everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in our food. Every time they do a surprise, test at a grocery store, when do they not find E. coli?
Yeah.
When do they not find it?
Oh, yeah. E.
Never,
coli,
never. They always
salmonella.
find it. They always find it every
Yeah.
single time. I mean, you know, and I remember being in microbiology class and just being like, gosh, and I remember because I did learn about cell wall deficient forms in there in microbiology class, and I remember her just being like, okay, we're going to move on to something that's more important, and I left and I studied a different technique with somebody who brought that up, and once I started looking at it, that's when my mind started going, okay, this is a big issue. that we haven't even scraped the surface. I mean, you see some of this trigeminal neuralgia. What happens? They pull a tooth. Somebody develops trigeminal neuralgia. The dentist says, "Oh my God, that's trigeminal neuralgia. Go see a neurologist." And off they go. And now we're on this merry-go-round of not getting any real answers of what happened.
Yeah.
Inflammation opened up space in the nerve, and a virus from somewhere else in the body moves in and sets up shop and starts. I mean, that's an unbelievable thing to be able to fix. And we're doing that. We're fixing that in people. Yeah, it's just pretty amazing. So
that's awesome. Well,
anyhow,
Dr. T, thank you so much.
Okay. All right, Colin, you have a great afternoon. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us. If you like this, please subscribe, comment, and if you felt that this was a benefit for someone else, please let them know as well. Until then, please say goodbye to Dr. T. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you like this, please like, follow, and subscribe. And please follow us for the latest updates for this season 5. And if you feel that this was a benefit for someone else, please let them know. And please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and YouTube. And thank you so much again. And we will see you on the next one.